Sitting here looking at and oh boy, oh. Hey y'all, listen, I got good news. I got some great news. The great news is this. We are living longer. Y'all hear me? Yeah. We are living longer. Especially we Americans. Man, we're getting old. And this is a good thing. I mean, but the only problem is we can't afford it. See in 60.
Report live, 7 days a week, always on time, but his time is not free. Sirwalterj Jones, always on fleek. Latest trending topics, how you jumping out your seat. Controversial subjects, others can't touch it. Community full of people throwing rocks from the bunkers to politics, finance, music, and religion. Stirring up the poverty, bring healing to the village. Son named Walter, daughter named Rebecca. Grew up on the south side, who know do it better. Sirwalterj Jones, from the Tribeca. He got something to say, put your hands together. Hey!
Come on in, the water is fine.
The water's fine. Hello, everybody. Sirwalterj of the Sirwalterj Jones Show. Guess what? I'm he. Come on in. Water is indeed fine. I thank y'all for coming in here just to see what we can do about this. Talk about retirement. Retirement is a great word. It's an inspirational word. It's a word that we've been hearing from our great-grandfathers and mothers to our fathers and mothers and to us right now, Generation X's. If you're not a baby boomer watching this, many of you are baby boomers right now, you were the ones that got us in this problem today. If you know a baby boomer, call them up and tell them you the one that did this to us. And I'll show y'all how the baby boomers did this thing to us with this whole retirement. It's good to see all the bunkers out there. Jeff Thompson, big ups to you. Thought I see you tonight at Bible study. Didn't see you tonight at Bible study. Nor your wife. I ain't seen y'all. All right, let's see what we can do with this show here. Again, we're talking about just the basics, okay? I'm not going to a whole lot of deepness on these retirement accounts because that would take me a few hours to do that. So we're just going to talk about the bare basics, okay? Most can't afford to retire. That's it. Oh, you got a haircut tonight. Okay, cool. I want to see it. Take a snapshot and text me that head of yours. All right, let's look at this little chart here that I took a snapshot of. All right, Roger said, it's not my fault. Right here at the top, the United States, retirement savings versus life expectancy. Here's the thing. This row right here, the white row here on the left, shows the retirement savings. And if you lived up to 65 and 70, all right, you might do okay, but unfortunately, fortunately, your life expectancy goes far beyond what you can afford. So you've saved up to here to 65 or 70, and even the numbers there are quite shaky, and then you're broke. So now what you got to do, you got to go back to work, or you never stop working to continue to support yourself until you die. That's the United States, goes into 85. Japan, look, they go all the way in the 90s. This chart here right above me, they go all the way to 90 because obviously they eat better than we do. All right. So I want to talk about this whole issue. We'll talk about people are concerned about their 401s and and the IRAs and all kind of stuff. Man, I tell you, I want to look at this chart here. All right, because I want to focus a little bit. Well, I had a chart up here. I had a chart. It'll come back eventually. Right? Where am I? It'll come back. I've got to get another, not another whiteboard. I got to get some more chords. I got to figure my life out when it comes to the whiteboard. All right, right here. This chart here, the retirement equation. Pay attention to the three places here. On the left, it says total control. This is where you have total control of your retirement. Total control. That means saving versus spending. You have every control over that. You do. You cannot blame nobody for that. At the time of this recording, the Federal Reserve just raised the interest rate to another quarter. Okay, that's 25%. That's not 25% interest rate. That's 25% of a quarter. All right. So another quarter. This is the 9th time they've done this in a year. Y'all, 9 times. Is it affecting you? Yes, obviously everybody is affected by this. Okay, everybody. So this chart here is all about personal responsibility, saving and spending, and asset allocation and location. So you get your assets. What do you do with it? You save it or you spend it. But the basis of this chart is you have control on this left side. This left-hand side is all about your control, which goes into your retirement. Unfortunately, this is not happening. On the right-hand side is the things that is out of your control right here. That is the market returns. You could put money in the stock market, but the market goes up and down, ebbs and flows, bull market, bear market. It could crash or it could rally. All right. That's not, it's out of your control. And then up under that is policy regarding taxation, savings, and your benefits. Has a lot to do with who you put in office. That's why voting is very important, not just for the president of the United States, but who you vote in the midterms has a lot to do with your tax bracket. That's when people get lazy, especially the poor. All right. And then this last section here is you have some control over employment earnings and the duration of your employment. Depending on what you do for a living, you have just some control, and the longevity. All right. You have some control that goes into your retirement. All right. So this chart here, you can go to Google and kind of kick the tires around and pull that chart up. That can help you take a mental state reflection. You know how you guys put inspirational things on the wall? Because y'all watch that movie. What's that movie? Where that Christian movie where she had all this stuff in the closet. She was writing inspirational stuff in I forgot the name of that movie. Anyway, one of them cheesy Christian movies. It was decent, but you know, most Christian movies that you go to is kind of cheesy. Most thank you, Miss Jackson. War Room. So you all looked at War Room and then you started to put a whole bunch of stuff on your walls. Let me tell you something about them things. It has become wallpaper. It has become wallpaper. Soon as you put new wallpaper on the wall, you are going to come home from work and say, wow, my room looks really nice. You're going to do that for about a week. About a week. After a while, it's wallpaper. So these affirmations that y'all put on the wall, it becomes, you don't even see it no more. You don't. All right. So let's go in here. So you got to find you got to find variables on how you could inspire yourself to do better for yourself. Because let me tell y'all something. boys and girls, come around. Miss Jackson, have Jeff. Is Jeff awake? Because I know he probably sleep right now. That man works so hard at the post office. He just. My brother works so hard. Wake him up. Slap him on the side of the face. Wake him up. Come around, boys and girls. Come around. All right. Listen, especially you people who work for the church. If you are a pastor, see, I knew he would sleep. I knew that boy would sleep. He gonna get me. He gonna get me after he see this show tomorrow. You people who work for the church like I did, especially you, tag a musician, tag a church musician, an organ player, guitar player, piano player, a drummer. Tag them. Tag your pastor who worked for the church, and all his sources come from the church. Let me tell y'all a big secret. The church is not your retirement plan. The church is not your retirement fund. The church, like any other job, or less than any other job, because at least these jobs offer retirement packages that you could play a part in. The churches don't, especially the Pentecostal church. I know the Lutheran churches have pension plans and they have 401s or something. The Presbyterian church do, the Catholic church do. I'm telling you, even believe it or not, the Church of God in Christ, if you are a bishop, there's some plans that were in place until they were not. Okay. All right. So the church is not a retirement plan. So you all who, like I was doing, going to church every Sunday and playing the organ and getting a check, all right, and depositing that check in the bank and then paying your bills on it year after year after year after year after year, all right? After doing that for about 10 years, I looked back over my life, and I think things over. I can truly say that I am broke. I'm broke. Because I looked back and says, if something should happen to me, and I got these two children, if something should happen to me, I got nothing. I got nothing. Because I did not take the responsibility, like I showed you this chart, and put something away. Nothing. No health insurance, no life insurance, no 401, at least as an independent contractor, no individual retirement, nothing. And I looked at that thing, I said, oh my God, I'm gigging here and gigging there and giggity. And if I get sick, I can't afford to get sick. I can't even afford to die. So obviously I can't afford to retire. I've got to keep working. And I see these musicians who are in their late 60s still playing the organ because they can't afford not to. They can't afford not to stop because they have nothing. No one told them what to do. But when they got of a certain age, no one have to tell you what to do, man. This is your life. This is your life. And you cannot work 100%. You cannot allow one place to support you 100%. You need to diversify. The Jews even know that. When I talk to not just wealthy Jews, but just upper middle class Jews, trust me, they don't have one income coming in. They've got different streams coming in. Different streams that they have invested in that comes in. Check this account. I told y'all I worked for a CPA firm in the 80s, in the 90s. And I saw all of these diversified accounts. I'm like, what is this? What is this? Wow, look at this. This is why this person is doing pretty well. So when it comes to America, as it pertains to your 401k, it averages about $60,000, y'all. That's it. A person who's in their 60s, who's getting ready to retire, got an average of $60,000 in their 401k. They cannot afford to retire. They can't. Because the 401k, this thing here that looks all funny, this thing here, that's better. This 401k here is Wall Street's what? It's Wall Street's asset. If you got a 401k, it's Wall Street's asset. And the fees is Wall Street's income. You understand? I know you got 60 grand sitting up in there, but that's Wall Street's asset. This product here is Wall Street's asset. And those fees that you are paying is Wall Street's fees. All right? Income, that is. It's like your mortgage. Your mortgage, that house that you have, that is the bank's asset. But it is also your payments every month is the bank's income. Do you understand what I'm saying? So when you see it like that, you'll understand these products in which you got. Somebody say, "Help us, Holy Ghost." You'll see how this works. All right, and so then what happens with your 401k? You know, we could talk about the history. The history of 401k. This is Ted Benner. He came up with this idea, and even he is telling y'all the 401k is not working the way it was intended to work. He is considered the father of 401ks. He was a benefit consultant. It came around in 1980. All right, and it was brilliant actually because he based it. He was looking at the new tax code that came around in 1980. All right, the new tax code. He was pushing the paper, and he noticed a section in there, which was section 401, which is related to qualified pensions and profit sharing and all this stuff. And it was paragraph K, which is cash or deferred arrangements. Okay, that's what that is. Cash or deferred arrangements. So he looked at that and he realized, wow, this new tax code is something that we can use in walk the 401k. He came up with that. All right. So it allowed employers to give cash bonuses, which were what? Pre-taxed. Pre-tax. It allowed them to give cash bonuses pre-tax, but when? Later. At a later date. That's what this is all about, the 401k. But there's pros and cons to the 401k because what it did was it affected the pensions. The pensions. Because you know, back in the day when y'all was getting pensions, unfortunately, the y'all are white folks. White folks. Pensions. The company did not know how to calculate a pension. They didn't want to pay pensions for the rest of your life. So they were trying to get rid of the pensions. And they were trying to figure a way to get out of the pensions, but also taking care of the employees. And in walked this wonderful idea of the 401k. So what did it do? It shifted the responsibility to who? You, instead of the employer. You getting it? You now. It's your responsibility. So then what did they do? They ditched the pension plan. They ditched it. Because of you. Yeah. Blew the pensions right out the water. All right. And then obviously we came up, they got the 403B. All right. I'm not going to, again, this is the bare minimum I'm giving y'all, the historicity. All right. Then we get in 1974 came what was called the self-directed. This is before 1980. The self-directed IRA. It's actually called the, boy, I wish my thing would act just right. It's the SDIRA self-directed. In real estate, all right, this is a wonderful system that a lot of people didn't know about. But what it did was it allowed you what? That thing allowed you total control. Total control. All right? That's what this SDIR, total control. It's called self-directed, which is something that you want. Self-directed IRA. Total control is what you want. All right? Now, it allowed you to invest in real estate. What? Precious metals, gold, silver. Okay. Even today, Bitcoin. All right. Not just stocks and bonds, which typical is what they want to offer you, and what, mutual funds. All right, which people are afraid of. So there are many people who don't really care for the market. So this self-directed IRA was a blessing. The company would usually choose. Okay, the company with the regular traditional IRA would usually choose, or you can say, I want to invest aggressively, or I'd like to invest moderately, or I like to invest conservatively. All right, you choose that. So that sounds like you had the choice, but really you didn't, because the brokerages gave the companies the choice of products. And usually the products it was only about 20x products that they say, here, offer this to your workers. And then the workers can decide whether they want to invest either aggressively, moderately, or conservatively. Instead of you individually self-directing your IRA into the market yourself or into somewhere else where you have a bigger, wide array, especially when it comes to real estate, which is some big, because African Americans became wealthy through real estate. I'm not talking about REITs. I'm talking about real estate. All right. So that's IRA. There's more to that. Okay, that we'll talk about in a minute. Okay. So what did this do? Let's go to a chart here. We got a few charts I want to show you. Here, if you are concerned about your tax brackets, then these products will go to Google, find something like this based off of how much taxes are you paying on the 401ks and the IRAs and what have you, and you'll see the breakdown, which ones are taxable contributions and which ones are tax-free, which ones are pre-taxed. Okay, these are the products. Cash and bonds right here, non-qualified. Retirement accounts, tax deferred. All right. The Roth IRAs over here, tax free, all this stuff here. Sit down with your husband or your wife and talk about this, because unfortunately, black people and taxes just don't mix. It don't mix. Taxes, all right? You can't escape it. You can't escape it. Taxes and death go hand in hand. You got to pay attention to it, because you don't want it to bite you down the road, because fees and taxes is what's causing many people to stay poor. And when it adds up over time, it's like, I gave the government all this. I gave the bank and bank fees all of this money over time. I gave the brokerage firms, all right, depending on the maintenance costs on a stock or a bond, or if you're with a broker's account, okay, I gave them all this. And then some of you get this life insurance plans where you're trying to buy into whole life. God help you on that. And life insurance and investments should be separate. They should not be a package. I agree with Susie Orman on that. You should not be trying to. I'm messing with some of y'all's business. I'm messing with some because there's some insurance folks here. I'm messing with y'all's business. Look here. All right, separate the products, will you please? That's all I got to say. Retirees worldwide will outlive their savings by a decade. Guess who is going to affect the most? Women will fare worse. Women's will fare most. Y'all go to Google and type that in. I'm not going to read it because as y'all already know I haven't eaten yet. All right, and find this chart right here in the U.S. Women fare much worse. I mean, y'all are living longer. Okay, much worse. This is the retirement savings deficit. Years saved versus life expectancy. Ladies, get on your wagon. Or kick the man out of the wagon, right? Because he might be part. All right, so when it comes to an IRA account, now we're talking something different, all right? Because 401ks was a great idea, but it was supposed to be something temporary in a sense, that was geared to helping the employee, but the government, the companies, the government, and Wall Street got involved. And once they got involved, and whenever they get involved, you always lose. You always lose. So it's just like I talked about yesterday with the gold standard, the gold being removed from the dollar. Who lost? You lose. You lost because the dollar lost. It is not considered king anymore, although I made that reference yesterday. Dollar is not king. It's actually trash. We just have it's the illusory perception that it is king. Yeah, so many divorced. Yep. Widowed elderly women in financial trouble getting drained by church and adult children. I'm telling you, she on that one right there. She on that one. Okay. Here's a shocking number. 25% of the workforce, not Americans, just the workforce, have no retirement. Okay. The spell is any kind of way. I'm tired. 25% of the workforce have no retirement. None. And 92% aren't reaching their target. That's a big number. They're not reaching it. We got to do something. So in walked the Social Security program. The Social Security program. Oops. The Social Security program. All right, when did that come about? Well, I say 1935. Your president, one of my favorites, Roosevelt. It wasn't his idea, actually. It was Mr. Townsend's idea, who looked out his window during the Great Depression, and he saw all these people outside his window, and he says that every American deserves some kind of security, financial security. Because he wanted America to pay it forward. In walks the Social Security Act. All right. So that means if you were making, let's say $4,500 a month in salary because you are part of the workforce and you were making this, you were paying into Social Security. And that means once you retired, you would be receiving a check of $1,500 a month. All right. That's barely enough to make ends meet if you were making $4,500. So obviously you had to add on other programs and retirement programs in order to shore up the loss. But it was at least giving you something. So everybody's paying into the Social Security. Okay. The problem with that are non-documented people and the rich. There's two problems there. The non-documented people pay into the Social Security when they get their check. But guess what? They cannot receive Social Security. And they cannot make a fuss about it because they're non-documented. Now, ain't that about nothing? So all these people you see who don't look like you, who working probably harder than you, and their monies are being deducted into a fund that they cannot receive. And the Social Security, the money that's allocated, is not enough. There's not enough money in the coffer, in the bank account. Why? Well, one reason why there's not enough money in there is because of the rich. They're not paying their fair share. This is why the Republicans go so hard or against the Democratic Party when it comes to finances and taxing the rich. Taxing the rich is necessary to survive in America. It doesn't matter where you stand, on the left or on the right or in the middle. Taxing the rich is absolutely necessary for America to survive. All right? Well, here's one reason why. A rich person works and they're paying into the Social Security week after week, month after month, whenever they get their paycheck. But there's a cap. Once the rich reaches $137,900, he stops paying into the Social Security. He stops. So he could reach $137,000 in a month. And then he's done for the whole year. Some can reach that in a week and he's done. Some can reach that, depending on who you are, in one day and he's done. For the whole year, he don't pay into Social Security. So who does that hurt? It hurts these people who are barely making it. It's like my car insurance. Mm-hmm. Yes, Sharon, that burden rests on the backs of the middle class and the poor. Yeah. It's like State Farm, who reluctantly dropped me. But when I first was trying to get State Farm, they wanted $350 a month for premiums. For I'm like, I can't do that. I can't do that. So I went with Progressive. They was lower, and I went with Progressive. But then Progressive started raising their prices. I said, man, I might as well go back to State Farm. I might as well try and get into State Farm. And then a few years later, I went to State Farm and said, okay, let me just try you out. Can I get in here? I can at least afford. I would rather have you instead of Progressive anyway. I want you. Your office is right across the street. They ran my thing. They said, okay, yeah. It will cost you, how much did they say? $250 or something like that. $240, something like that. I said, what? That's it? I said, yeah. I said, Progressive wants $350. They keep going up. I said, why is it that you wanted $350 from me when I first applied for you guys a couple years ago? Now it's down to $240. She says, it's simple. The more people put into the bucket, the less it is for you. And number two, you're older, young man. You're older, young man. So this is a pool. The more people put into the pool, all right, it's like health insurance, like Obamacare and all this other stuff. The more people that are in the program, the less you have to pay. I'm like, oh, I ain't know that. Sign me up. So I was saving $100 on my car insurance. Okay. And then the pandemic came, y'all stopped driving, and my car insurance the premiums went down. So I went from paying $240 all the way down to $150 a month for a couple years during the pandemic. I loved it. People were not driving. Well, it has recently started going back up. But this is how it works. It's all about the pool. So Social Security is broke right now. And so some of you, if you don't hurry up and retire now, when I get to retirement age, there won't be much money there for me. If any at all, it will be drained. Mm-hmm. She said, is retirement even biblical? Yes, it is biblical. Absolutely biblical. A good man puts some money away for who? Huh? He leaves an inheritance for who? That's a retirement plan. That retirement plan is not just for him, because if he's putting that away for his grandchildren, that means he doing all right. All right, he's all right. And even the stock market, Jesus spoke a parable on the talents, which was the stock market of that day. Those three men, one buried them. This is what some of us are doing. We're getting our paychecks. I talked about you all who are musicians. You're getting your paychecks and you're burying it. Instead of doing like the first two did, they invested their monies and got a return. Y'all getting it now? It's not as bad as we have. If we just could have studied this somewhere, because the school wasn't going to show it to you. Yeah, come on. boy. Oh, Lord, yes. If you are a Levite, claiming that you are a Levite, you musicians, you are supposed to retire at the age of 50. So that goes back to that man I was telling you who he was in his late 60s playing the organ because he could not afford not to. I'm like, bruh, if you say you are a Levite, you're supposed to retire at 50, and you've been 20 years. You 20 years late in your retirement. All right, so you always hear about the stool. Okay, well, one stool is the pension, and it actually was the pension. It's not much the pension today. That's one stool of retirement. The other stool is what I just told you all, is the Social Security stool. Okay, and then it's a 3-leg stool, and the next stool is personal savings. Okay. And that's everything we've been talking about so far. That's the three-legged stool for you to survive. This tax here for the rich is called a regressive. I believe it's called a regressive tax. All right? Regressive tax. Caps right there, and they're done. They're not paying into the system anymore. The UK have a great plan. The United Kingdom, the United Kingdom have a plan. They had a pension plan, and then they took on the American plan. Okay, and they realized that the American plan was not working for their people, so they went back into a special retirement plan where it was mandatory that retirement money is taken out of every check. Unlike Social Security, there was several bits and pieces of your check that's taken out of it. They call it the Nest plan. All right, if you Google it, it stands for something I just don't remember. The National something. That's in the UK. Y'all don't live there, and they got free healthcare, y'all. They got free healthcare. Okay. All right. Let me see. Let me go back to see if I got any charts here that I did not put up here. Poo poo pee pop pee pop. What's his name? Oscar Sims sent me this thing. He went to the store and he saw this surcharge on all cars, 2.75%. Sorry for the inconvenience. Yeah. And what that's American Express right there. I see 2.75% surcharge. Why? What are they doing? They're passing the savings on to you all. Remember, y'all go to the show I did on credit cards. All right. So here is Nest. Thank you all for helping me out there. Nest is the National Employment Savings Trust. That's what that is. Okay, you can finish the words. Don't be lazy. Don't be lazy. The National Employment Savings Trust. That's what Nest is, and it's working great for many of those people that live there. All right, this chart here. Where is it? These are the types of IRAs: traditional, Roth, SEP, and the simple plan. All right. Many of you have heard of all four of them. All four of them have a special thing about them. Okay. And I suggest if you are an entrepreneur, you self-employed, even if you are employed, you should consider an IRA. All right. So the traditional IRA, there's about 36.8 million are invested in a traditional IRA. All right. It is tax deferred. Okay. Tax deferred. And if you have a 401k, you can roll. All right. I would say roll it over. Take your 401k. Some people, when they leave their job and they can't bring 401k with them, it's a different setup. Then they roll it over into a traditional IRA because now you have control over that. All right. Okay. And then you have the Roth, which we love so dearly. We love us some Roth, don't we? We do. Come on. All right. Roth IRA. This is obviously the owner is owner responsible. You, the owner, is responsible for the tax. It grows tax free. All right. You hold it after 5 years into your retirement. You can pull from it at the age of 59 and a half. Most of you know about this. Okay, that Roth is beautiful. There's 26.3 million people who have a Roth. All right, good old Roth. Don't we love Roth, folks? Folks, gather around. Don't we love Roth? Okay, and then there is the SEP IRA. It's about 8.6 million people in this thing. Okay. Employer and employees will make the contribution, and it's usually small business. Okay. Will offer you a SEP. All right. And if you pull, it's what I think it's a 10% penalty. If you're doing that before retirement age, okay. But most of us know how this works. All right. So I was asked a question from a brother. I think it was Brother George for Brother Bernie, because I'm actually done with this part. But you gotta always answer the question, about affordability and what is it that some things that we can do. Bernie asked the question. Where is it? Where is it, Bernie? Bernie. The two. What do you ask? Here's my question. Do retired couples need a source of income, or do they just continue to live off of the 401k plan and pensions? Well, two things. Number one, this is a difficult answer. Reason why this is a difficult answer, because I'm getting ready to say to seek out your financial advisor. But here's the problem with seeking out financial advisors. They're like preachers who you talk to one, he gonna tell you that this scripture says one thing. The next preacher gonna tell you that the scripture says another. You go to the hospital and the doctor says you got the clap. And then you want to get a second opinion. You go across the street and this doctor said, no, he tested it wrong. You don't have the clap. You have the rap. All right. So if you talking to someone who benefits from selling the product, he's going to mislead you. You better hear me. If you're talking to someone who's in the industry, he's going to mislead you. It's like going to one of the brokerage firms and asking them, can I open up an individual retirement and then I can invest my money here and there? They may say, no, that's not a wise thing to do, because if you didn't take control of your money, they don't get the booking or the management fees. So they may steer you differently. You understand? So his question is, do retired couples need a source of income? I suggest a source of income. I'm not saying you have to go back to work, because I don't know how much is in your 401k. But here's the thing. I do not trust the 401k. Many of you people say you don't trust the stock market, but your 401k is heavily in the market. So he says, do they continue to live off the 401k plans and pensions? If you got a pension, well, praise God. But if you have a 401k, fine. But the average American only have enough to survive for a few years, and then they got to find some work somewhere else. So always suffer now so that you could build later. All right. So that's why I say, if you can, get you a Roth IRA and roll that sucker over into the Roth and cap it and protect yourself a little better. I don't trust 401k. I just don't trust it. I never trusted the 401k. Never trusted it. All right. So what you need to do is, if you can, if you're able, find other streams, find other ways to make some money and put it away and save it for a rainy day. All right. I don't care how old you are. Save it for a rainy day. Put it away. There is the H. There is another fund for a retirement for insurance purposes. Starts with an H, HS or something like that. Okay, that people are using for retirement. You're supposed to use it for to show up some of the expenses for medical. All right, you're not really supposed to use it to spend it on other expenses other than medical. So there's a whole bunch of retirement funds out there that you can put in, especially for people who are retired. And they thank you, Carlotta, the HSA. So there are many retirement funds out there. You pick and choose. But for a couple who's retired and they're living off the 401k, here's the danger of just living off the 401k. Are you ready for this? You ready? What happened to my light? In 2008, some people had over $100,000 in their 401k. Can somebody tell me what happened in 2008? Can somebody tell me? And Carol is right. You will pay a capital gains tax. That's why I mentioned tax earlier in this show, because you need to sit down with somebody who can help you with the tax. But the tax man helps you with the tax. Another guy will help you with something else. You all are hiring one guy to tell you to do everything like you do. You treat your preacher. You ask your preacher, help me with this. And he's like a general practitioner, your preacher. Like remember we had a family doctor? He was a general man. I don't care what happened to us, whether something we scraped our knee or whether cancer was forming or anything. One doctor did house visits. He was a general practitioner. He took care of everything, the babies and the seniors. I don't know how we survived back in that day. Later on, we started getting specialists who specialize on certain things, okay? Where your finances should be treated the same way. You go to one guy for one thing, and you go to Jackson Hewlett or whatever. You don't go to him for financial advice. You go to him for taxes. You go to him for taxes. So people who had $100,000 in 401k lost it in 2008. See, Sharon said stock market crash. Ask me how I know. Yeah. So you want to keep your money in the 401k? Okay. All right. Okay. You keep doing that. But markets always crash. Always. But they always rally. Okay? Markets rally. Markets crash. It's a vicious cycle, but we are not prophets. We don't know when it's going to happen. So you've got to secure yourself. You cannot put your trust in the market. That's why you got a 401k now, because they made a backdoor deal. Your company and the stock market made a deal and asked the government, can we do this? And they said, yes, let's do it. And then they invested your money. You think you have all the knowledge and you know all this, and the average person who owns a 401k don't even know what the fees are. You understand? So you need to have better control of your money. Just like spiritually, you are responsible for your own soul. You can't be going to church and sitting behind a box and saying, Father, forgive me for I have sinned, and do a few Hail Marys, and then you talk to the Father about your sin. Oh, wait, is that just Catholic? No, that's the church that you are in right now. Many of you go to your pastor like the man go to the Catholic priest. Same way, you just have a different language. Your soul, you are responsible for it. And you have a right to go right to the Lord. The veil has been rent in half, and you have a right to talk to Jesus in your pajamas. Ain't that about nothing? So it's the same with your money. Same with your money. It's your money. J.G. Edwards, what's the commercial? Called J.G. Edwards 777 cash now. All right. It's my money. I can do what I want to with it. All right. So to answer his question, I suggest get a hold of that 401k, because if another crash come, not if, when another crash come, do this. Bye bye love. Bye bye 401. Hello poverty. All right. So, am I saying pull all your money out of 401k? Go to your financial advisor for that. You're not going to hold me responsible for giving y'all some crazy advice. I'm telling y'all, me, myself, and I, I like to put my money somewhere just a little more secured. Just a little more secured. Yeah, J.G. Wentworth. Thank you, Pamela. Pamela, turn off your TV. What you watching TV for? The Saints say you're not supposed to watch TV. And we are not going to even have to talk about what happened a few years earlier, 2002, because that's when my retirement 401k took a great hit. See, the NASDAQ subsequently lost nearly 80%. And the S&P 500 lost 50% to reach the October. See? And if you're in retirement age, here's the shocking truth here. All right, let me get out of here, because I want to eat something, because baby girl is, she up there cooking up something. Here's the thing. Here's the shocking reality. The shocking reality is, hey, Henry, hey, they named it after you, Henry Roth. Good to see you. Here's the shocking reality. It's 2007. I'm 64 years old. I want to, Henry's cracking up. I want to retire next year. It's 2007. I'm 64 years old. I've got 100,000, 200,000 in my 401k. I'm getting ready to retire next year. I'm telling you, this is real story. These are the stories that we heard. I'm getting ready to retire. I leave my job. I retire. We're going into the new year. Guess what happened? You turn on the news, breaking news. You know, CNN every day is CNN breaking news. Every day there's breaking news for them. The market crashed. And you quickly call up your broker. And your broker say, I'm sorry. You got to keep working. But I quit my job. And we had vacations planned. We booked this. Sorry. All that money gone like that. So I suggest you all, you got to diversify. You just have to. You cannot trust the system that has been put in place to go against you, because America is wealthy based off of the backs of the gullible, the downtrodden, the poor, and what's supposed to be called the middle class. Where is the middle class? Is there a such thing as middle class today? That's the illusory perception. You think you're middle class, but I'm sorry to tell you, in reality, there is no middle class. Yeah, there you go, Simone. Broker. Yeah. So diversify. Sit down with somebody who can walk with you and look at. There's a calculator. Do I have it? Did I? Right here. This calculator here. Calculators are your friend. This is a retirement savings calculator. So, unfortunately for some of you, it's too late as it pertains to the age, but your children, sit with your children. I sat with mine, 32 years old. My son is 33. When you planning on retiring, son? Well, Dad, I'm retired at 62, so you put that in the calculator. Okay. What's in your savings now? Current retirement savings, 16,000, because you've been saving. Obviously, for most young people, that would be considerably low. It might be $200. Okay. Your return on your investment, which is your annual interest rate, would be about 5.5%. That is actually attainable, because when we did, there's local banks. It's not right now. The highest you're going to get is about 4%. Okay, but the market will be shifting eventually, and then you'll be able to get back up there. And then when you put that calculator in there, what does that say? Amount at retirement, $1 million. Okay, that's how you get to your $1 million. But see, this calculator wasn't shown to me or you in school. We wasn't taught this in school. We were not privy to this type of information. Our families didn't sit down and talk about retirement. We just did not. We just tried to make it. As we got older and started having children and maybe working in the business world, working for someone else, then we heard about retirements and the introduction of the 401k. By that time, we up in age. We up in age. So then you have to be aggressive in your retirement approach. You can't put just a few dollars away like you were when you were young. You have to put many dollars away to get to a point where you can retire with something. Here's the problem with that. Young people now got to be even more aggressive. They can't retire. They can't put away money. They can't invest moderately. Young people, your children, now got to be extremely aggressive, because the way the economy is going and the way it's going to be when they get up of age, it's killing them. My uncle taught me at 17, the night before I went in the army at 17. You got a good uncle there. Tell Uncle call me. Yeah, I know. So, clock keeper is telling me get out of here, and I obey. All right. If you got anything out of this, do me a favor and share this with some of the people. Share this with your children. Share this with your family. Sit down with this show, rewind it, and then go over your books. Do whatever you can. All right, because the average guy or woman or family can't afford to retire right now. Social Security is not promised to you. The only thing promised to you is heaven or hell. Those are the only two things that are promised to you. Outside of that, and both of those require death. All right. So even if you're raptured, you still died. You died. This body died, and you took on a new body. So diversify. Do what you can. Find other ways of doing it, and there are other ways, but that's more time than I have. I'll have my brothers back on, and we could talk about different ways of diversifying. All right? But share this with your family, please. Don't wait till it's too late, okay? Because it's bad enough many preachers don't even have life insurance. As soon as they die, the church got to find a way, to bury them, especially if it's a small church, And then in the Church of God in Christ, the bishop come in here in your church, and then you got to raise a lot of money for the bishop to come visit your church. Mm-hmm. You gotta leave him an offering, especially if he just show up. He ain't got to preach. He just show up, and you got to leave him an offering. A struggling church. And then he may take the church. How did I get into that? I'm sorry, I got into that. Hey, y'all, baby girl got a... I got permission, so don't be like, how dare you do that to your daughter? I got permission. I don't never try to, I don't purposely embarrass my daughter. I said, baby girl, can I play this? Yeah, all right, go ahead. All right, I don't embarrass I'm very protective of my daughter. Extremely protective of Rebecca, all right? And y'all know that. All right. But I walked by her they got these devices now. I never knew this. I don't remember her doing this with my first grandson, with her first baby. These pumps, they put batteries in them, and now they pump the milk. I didn't know. I did not know. All right. And she walking around the house, and when she walked by me, I'm hearing these noises. Val, why you ain't call me and tell me about these pumps? I'm hearing. I'm like, is my daughter a robot? Dinah said I'm years late. I ain't know. I'm like, what is this, baby girl? So I'm gonna play this video, okay? This is when I was shocked. I always have you. They call me Negro Artsy because I'm always recording something. Portable breast pumps. What you know about that? You ain't got no baby. What you know about that? Mona said nothing new. I am a man, Nancy. I'm a man. She's getting. I never knew about them things. I'm just hearing. I said, somebody call the ambulance. All right, so here's when I first discovered it. Because my son anyway, here it is, right here. Yeah, you hear that? Her breath's talking. It sounds like a bunch of animals. That's that new technology. Breast pumps. I remember my mother having to go. That's all I remember. That's all I remember. That's all I remember. Now it was like, is she walking around the house? It's a milking machine. She is a walking cow. What is this? God made milk. Good mommy. Oh, Val say it's a game changer. Val know. Mary know too. Mary know. So my son, Walter Jr., is a recording engineer, producer. He like to make beats and what have you. So I'm going to play his beat as I leave, y'all. I'm going to play the beat. And when you listen to the beat closely, you'll hear he took a sound of her breath. I guess she put the phone like this because my son and my daughter is very, 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 very close. You know, and she did this and he recorded and he put it in the beat. All right. So I'm going to go, y'all. God bless you all. Take care of yourselves, will you please? I love y'all. There's nothing like the bunkers. None like you. Henry Ross, man, I love you, brother. Lynette, so good to see y'all, all of y'all, all right? I pray for you all. I bless you all. I know that the Lord is taking good care of you. I know because you're here. All right, y'all keep praying for those people who are in need. Charlene lost her uncle, was it? Be praying for Charlene. She belongs to us. She is a dear, dear, dear close bunker, and we love her so much. All right, so let's be praying for her. Deatra's mother fell, but she's been in the hospital for a couple of days, and her mother is back home tonight. Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord. She is up in age, and the Lord is doing a wonderful work in the Carter family. Right? And any of you all else who need prayer, y'all go ahead and let us know. All right? I'm going to go. This is my son and he called this song Pump It. Pump it. There it is. Gotta go. Take care, bunkers. See you tomorrow. Theology Thursday.
Goodbye. 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 Enjoy yourself. Goodbye. 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 Well, goodbye. 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 Goodbye.
It's 10 p.m. Do you know where your children are?
Fellas, does it seem like you can't get a good woman? Ladies, wonder why you can't keep a man? Then read The 4 Women That Men Desire, Volume 1, by Sirwalterj to figure out how to break the cycle. Go to Amazon.com to get your copy today.